Friends, today we see the Central Finance Unit 4 Cost Object Mapping Framework. Cost Object Mapping Framework has scenario, rule, and cost object assignment. The mapping scenario tells about what is the local cost object and what is the central object category. Normally it's internal order to internal order, sometimes it's production order to the internal order, and sometimes production order to the product cost collector. And what is the cardinality means relationship 1:1 or n:1. All those things we will maintain in the mapping scenario. In addition, we will maintain the attributes to be used to map the two object types. Also, attributes of local object to be passed to central object. These things we are maintaining in the mapping scenario. So, what are the attributes from the local characteristics that needs to be used to map the attributes in central characteristics? And also here if you see that derived from local, so for all these attributes of the central objects, cost object in the central, it will be derived from the local. Whatever it comes from the local, it will be taken as it is, and if it is unchecked, it is cleared. So here it will determine the new value based on the mapping rule. So local characteristics are inputs for mapping rule. Central characteristics will be populated in the central object, and it also output parameters for mapping rule, not subject to subsequent MDG mapping or key value mapping. So these type of things. A table will be created based on this definition, mapping table. Let's move on to the next mapping rule. Here mapping rule, we will give the local objects attributes for which what are the target cost object and their attributes. There are some rules to maintain this rule. This step tells based on which criteria local object should be mapped into the which central object. With different granularity of rules here, we can have, if you see this line is have much more granularity, and you maintain attributes of central object. This will be used for central object creation. Here also we can have the attributes. So while creating the objects in central system, these attributes are used for creation. So try to avoid the conflicting objects. See here, here I see what all for all the order types. If it is blank means it will for all, any value for all the order types. If it is company code CF01, use the order type 0200. But whereas here for order type 100, irrespective of the company code, for any company code, use 100. It means if it is order type 100, some order type with 100 comes here, that will select based on this condition, it will select 200, but based on this condition, it will select 100. Here it's a conflict. So we should avoid this type of conflicts either within the scenario. This is one scenario, we have multiple lines, and also across the scenario. We should avoid this thing. And while creating the scenarios, we should take the following into considerations, like empty fields means any value. The more specific is higher granularity, higher priority. Rules with conflict with another, if they have same priority. A built-in check is already implemented. It can detect both conflicts within one scenario and across the scenario. Once you have created the scenario, you can check if it conflicts other. In this case, if you try to save the scenario, the system will give an error message. You can correct the error message. If no error message triggered at this time, during the replication, it will throw the runtime error. So this is how the cost object replication works. Once the cost object replication happens, Based on the mapping scenario rule and MTG mapping, if the object is not there, it will create it as per the standard function, cast object creation function, and updated, and the cast object assignment table will get populated with both the source and target. The cast object application will be done through SLT, both initial load and real-time replication done through SLT. In central system, payload function is handed over to functional module, fin, cfin, CO object assignment. Based on the mapping rule we have seen in the step 2, the central system will design whether to map local order to an existing central order or to generate a new central order for mapping. Caution: optimize asynchronous hosting by packaging many objects into one job. For better performance, event-based rule or transfer filter shall be set in SLT configuration. This is the cast object assignment. This is how it looks in this SAP screenshot. So this box tells category and ID of object in source system, and this side tells category and object ID of object in central system. Upon creation of a new cast object, the system automatically creates a new entry in mapping table, fin, cfin assignment. That's it. We come to the end of this. Thanks for joining.